Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 198. For those who don't know, I'm Gavin Webber. I'm the chief curd nerd and I'll try and answer your home cheese making questions. We are live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch at the moment. Technology, isn't it amazing? Fantastic. So I hope you all had a great New Year's Eve and your first day of the year 2022. Gee, I tell you what, I hope it's going to be a better one than the last 2 years for everybody in the world. But we'll see how it pans out and we'll just take it as it goes, I suppose. Lots of people in the chat, which is absolutely fantastic. Let me say g'day to a few people as we go along. G'day to Rodney. Hello, Rodney. Judy Mack. G'day, Judy. Lovely to see you. Bill Nelson. G'day, Bill. Who else we got there? We've got Charlie Pace. G'day, Charlie. Lovely to see you, mate. Who else? Wendy PJ. G'day, Wendy. Lovely to see you, mate. Alexandre. G'day. How are you? Dennis, and we've got Rich. Lovely to see you all. Okay, it's telling me, I didn't expect there to be too many people today. We've got 30 people in the chat. We've got 26 from YouTube, 3 from Facebook, and 4 from Facebook, and nobody's watching on Twitch. It's just there just in case people get too excited. Anyway, so let me just go through what my little listio here is. So first of all, thank you to all financial members of the channel. We've got new YouTube members today. Kevin, Olenek, Zach. Hopefully I've said that right. Kevin, thank you so much for your support over on YouTube memberships. And Lencioni, Brenda. That's how it was on YouTube memberships. Thank you so much for your not patron. Well, it is patronage, isn't it? On YouTube members, and to all the patrons, thank you so much for sticking around. Some of the perks you get for being a member is early access to videos, exclusive posts and photos on the YouTube community tab and over on Patreon. And on Patreon, there are actually tiers of rewards as well. So. Okay, new videos that I'm working on. So I've got Gorgonzola maturing. It's got a lovely coating of blue. I pierced it the other day, and that should be ready in probably 2 months, I hope. But what I might do, depends on what you guys say here. I want to get the making video up and then we'll do a taste test. Can I please have a show of hands in the chat? Whether you prefer to see a making video and then a taste test, or the making video and the taste test together in one video. So throw your comments there in the chat. Let me know, and then I'll make a decision either way. I've got all the footage for the making video. I just don't have the taste test because, hey, it's not ripe yet. So now videos coming up. I'm going to be making some cheese next week. So let me bring up my Trello page, which and share that all with you. Okay, here we go. Here's my video production screen. So we've got so we did Cacio ricotta. That's already been published. That was the last cheese, and there was a subsequent video, my top cheeses for 2021. Gorgonzola, like I said, video editing, all that sort of stuff. The next one I'm going to make, I think, is either Fundy Fog or Guido's Italian cheese, which you can see here. The Caciotta is very similar to the Cacio ricotta, but it's a little bit firm. It's a fresh cheese as well. And then on the list of video ideas, I've got Ways with Whey, Prima Donna Fino, Tete de Mon, Graviera, types of mold in cheese making, Danbo cheese for those Danish amongst us, triple cream, Jack in the Box, and Alp Blossom. So there's some of the cheeses that I'm hoping to get manufactured. So that'll be fun. Okay, so let's have a look at the consensus of what people are saying. Bill says, make it now, taste it later. Judy says, 2 videos, please. Alexandre says, 1 video. Fun Pants 94 says 2 separate videos. That way we can make it and learn as you go. Donna, whatever's easiest for me. Thank you, Donna. Love to have my choice. My choice is great. Alan, 1 video. Cease says separate. So far, the separates are winning. And Wendy says either or. And Rodney says 1 video. Can you chapter each step or else the taste test? Yeah, I actually I'm getting used to putting chapters in. YouTube has it's a new feature. It's about 6 months old, where you can put in chapters down the bottom on the little bar thing. If you're looking at YouTube, and it has each chapter, and you can skip ahead using the little timeliney thing. So that works. But thanks everybody for your feedback. I think I'll start production on that video. Just write a note what the outcome was. Yeah, so we'll do 2 separate videos for that, because like 2 months aging, you don't want to hang around for no video. And some of the other videos, they're long aging cheeses. So in the past, I've made the making video, and then I've made the taste test video, a few months, even 12 months down the track, and then linked the 2 together. And if worse comes to worse, what I can do, and I have done this in the past for any popular videos, and that is do a re-edit and put them both together after I've, shot both of them, and release it as one whole video again. People seem to like that they get, 1, 2, and then they get the third one, which is the amalgamation of both videos. That seems to work as well. I did that with the cease and desist cheese. I've done that with my cheddar cheese, the cheddar cloth bound one, where, after the whole 1 year of maturation, I put all the little clips together plus the making video and made it one big video. And that's almost as popular as the original making video. So yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, so let's have a look see if we got any questions. Oh, and last thing, the gallery will be at 8:30. We've only got a couple of submissions today, but they are very good. So we will have a look at that. All right, let's see. Do we have any questions? Now, you're probably wondering, Kim's not here, as far as I can tell. She didn't get a very good night's sleep last night. Nothing wrong per se, but yeah, she didn't get very good sleep, so I'll let her sleep in like a good husband I am. Whew. All right, cool. So first question or statement says from Rich, and Rich says, "Hi, Gavin. Long-time watcher, first-time responder. How did you get into cheese making, and did your first cheese turn out?" Well, there's quite a long story, and it's actually documented in my first book, Keep Calm and Make Cheese. And if you're on YouTube, you can see that in the merch store down below. But long story short, I went to a community house, and they had a cheese making course. I had to book it at an advanced course. Met 2 lovely ladies called Dorothy and Lorraine. They were cheesemakers from Gippsland, and they bought a traveling roadshow. They had like a trailer attached to their truck, and all the gear was in the back. Anyway, so the first cheese that I made in that class was feta. And yeah, it did turn out okay. It was probably more of a Danish style feta, or Danish white cheese, as it's probably known better. Yeah, it was smooth and creamy, but it wasn't crumbly like, Greek feta that's made with sheep's milk and goat's milk. So that was my first cheese. And my second cheese that I ever made, if anybody really wants to know, was Wensleydale with sage in the middle. I made that the very the very next day after I made the feta. So yeah, that was my second cheese ever. So that was good fun. Well, thanks for your question, Rich. Appreciate it. John has a question and says, "Hi, John here from the UK again. Hello, John. What's the best and easiest way, in your opinion, to make Wensleydale? I have been there and see how they make it." Well, there is actually a video. If you go to the channel and you search, and I'll just show you how to do that, because I have just up here. Let me go. Let me do sharing again. We'll be doing sharing all day, I think. It's easy to share when you haven't got a moderator. So what we do, there's the channel page, and you go over here. There's a little search, and what we're doing, Wensleydale. The Wensleydale, and you can see there's multiple videos. This is like I said, this is the second, 6 years ago. Actually been making cheese. I think that's a remaster. But yeah, there's lots of Wensleydale videos. Oh, here's the very first Wensleydale, 11 years ago, making Wensleydale at home. What a great video. Anyway, so that's the videos you can find. And like I said, it's just simple as going to the channel page and searching, and you can find all of my cheese making videos. Let's go back to that. And yeah, all very good. So we'll make that go away. Make that go away. All righty. So that was the question. Thank you so much, John. I hope that helped. Let's have a look. Donna. Hello, Donna. Help, first-time Munster maker on day 3 in cave. Slight orange colour, but looking really wet. Scared? No, don't be scared. Those washed rind cheeses certainly are very moist. That's because you wash them. And that's how the Brevibacterial linen spreads all over the cheese. So don't be too worried about that. If you see any blue mold start to grow, then you know it's time to wash. But I think it's every couple of times a week. Yeah, you'll get a nice coverage on that. So yeah, it'll be a great little cheese. Anyway, hope that answers your question, Donna. All right, let's have a look. That's all the Pradboda says, please, cheese, rennet, same things. Sorry, mate, I don't understand the question. All right, let's have a look. It says creamy noobstickle, unusual name. I would love to see another chili cheese video. Yeah. Kim has actually, because I don't make enough of it, remember the chili brie that I made, the petite chili brie? Kim's been buying the commercial brand for the lack of Gavin actually making the cheese. So over Christmas, she bought a couple of those, and they are very nice. So anyone in Australia, if you don't make your own cheese and you just like watching the channel, then if you want a really nice chili brie, then I think it's Unicorn brand. They're out of Shoalhaven in New South Wales. So nice little cheese maker over there. Bill says, great list of upcoming ones. Excited to make new ones. Yeah, so the reason I made the Trello board, Bill, was to keep myself accountable. So I've got rough production dates on the Trello board as well behind those pictures and stuff that you see there. There's a whole gamut of information. So when I upload, when I create one of those little cards, they're called cards in Trello, I put all this information behind the picture, like the recipe, either the link to it if it's an online recipe, or the printed copy, or the page number in the book that I've got. I also put any notes on and a little checklist on when to order the milk and when to start making it and all that sort of stuff. So it keeps me honest, Bill, and it's a good little planning tool, and it's free. So the version I'm using, I'm not putting any automation. You can do all sorts of weird stuff, but yeah, it keeps me accountable. So thanks, mate. Let's have a look. Oh, Manel, I didn't see you before. G'day, mate. How are you? Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you, mate. Happy New Year to you. Funpants94 says, have you made any cheese that you really like but won't ever make it again due to how challenging they were? Oh, let me think. I don't know. I tend to make the cheese once, and if I like it again, maybe I'll make it in a year's time or something like that, or do a variation on it. You've probably seen variations on Kafili. I've made that a couple of times on the channel. Wensley I've made a couple of times with some variations as well. But yeah, every cheese is unique. I kind of task myself to make as many cheeses as possible in the many years I've got left on planet Earth. So ones that I wouldn't make again because they are challenging. Let me think. I'll probably never make many of the stretch curd cheeses again. The like provolone, I'll leave that to the experts. It was such pain in the bottom. Let me think. What else? Shropshire Blue. That was another one that was a bit, it was taxing. And because I was making a video on it, every time it fell apart, I got frustrated. So that was challenging. Buttermilk Blue is a little bit of a challenge, but the flavor is just out of this world. So I probably would make that one again. But there's some of the main ones, I would say. Washed rind cheeses, the only reason I wouldn't make some of them again is because they are so stinky, and Kim gets a bit upset when I open the cheese fridge. It's like open your lunchbox with a boiled egg in it at school, That's the sort of smell when you open the cheese fridge. And I dare say most of you can attest to the stink that does come out of the cheese fridge when you are making a washed rind cheese, with Brevibacteria linen. So great question. Thanks, Fun Pants. Rodney says a re-edit would be amazing, mate. No problems, because Gorgonzola I think may be a fairly popular video. I would, like I said, I'll do the initial making, the taste test, then I'll bang them together, re-edit, and re-upload again. So 3 videos for the price of 1 cheese. How good's that? Philip says, I love you, Cheeseman. Thank you, Philip. Appreciate it. Who else we got? Malethi says, hey, Gav, have you lost weight? You look great. Not really. I kind of fluctuate between 5 kilos of each other, up and down. I am definitely trying to lose weight this year. Kim has. We're already on a diet, so... Oh, sorry, it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle change. Yeah, and just remember, you can change anytime you like. So anyway, yeah, thanks, mate. I do feel healthy. That's the good thing. My doctor, last 6-month checkup, my doctor gave me a good, clean bill of health. But yeah, it's great. Bill says, what's the strangest addition you have used in a recipe? Very hard to define strange there, Bill. For anybody who's never made cheese, everything's strange when you make cheese. I think the strangest ingredient, it's probably not strange for many people, is getting your hands on some sheep's milk. So ewe's milk. That was amazing to work with. The creaminess of the milk, the high fat content, the curd it set was amazing. And I made 2 cheeses out of that because there was so much whey protein left over after I made what did I make? The Pecorino Romano is the cheese that I made. And the flavor of that is just outstanding. And the Pecorino, what was it? Ricotta salata that I made as well. So that had, normally ricotta salata doesn't have very much flavor. It's just a very salty cheese. However, because of the sheep's milk and I just added a little something more, I found that, yeah, it was really, really tasty. It was kind of like a sheep's milk Parmesan, if that makes any sense. The ricotta salata, which is, just you make the ricotta after from the whey and strain it out, put it in a bag, and then you put it in a little mold and press it lightly and then heavily salt it. It turned out really nice. It dried out. Not as hard as a rock, but fairly dry, and it was very grateable. But that's if strange is strange for me, that was strange. Annette says, Happy New Year. Hello, Annette. Lovely to see you, mate. Jody says, I can't wait for the triple cream brie. Happy New Year. Thank you, Jody. Yes, I think it's going to be a great little cheese. See how that goes. Julianne says, Happy New Year. Hello, Julianne. Lovely to see you. Fun Pants 94 says, speaking of Wensleydale, I saw they make a new blue Wensleydale. Have you thought about making one? I haven't seen that. Blue Wensleydale. I'll write it on my list and we'll do some research if my pen would work. Right. Pen number 2. Lucky I've got lots of them. Blue Wensleydale. Right, there we go. Right, written down. Maybe if I can find a recipe for it, or I just do it myself. I'm pretty good like that. Julianne says, I enjoy your videos. Thank you, Julianne. I appreciate it. Chris says, hi, Chris. Hi, Gavin. In washed rind cheeses, what affects the final outcome of the rind? Epoix is soft and delicate. The cheese oozes out if the rind is damaged, but cheeses like Saint Nectaire have a crunch, firm rind. Yeah, so what they do. So with if you want a really soft washed rind cheese, use a mesophilic culture. If you want a firmer washed rind cheese, use a thermophilic culture. That's the difference. So the addition of thermophilic, you can actually heat the milk up higher, make the curds denser, and you get a bit of a rind to it. Very similar to raclette is another one that has a firm rind and it's a firmer cheese because that's made using a thermophilic starter culture, whereas Epoix, Munster, Brick, Limburger, yeah, there's a few. They're all fairly soft and oozy sort of cheeses as well. Limburger, not so much, but it is soft when you press it. So that's the difference. That's how they do it. It's the magic of thermophilic cultures. Yeah. Manel says, why do cracks happen on the cheese after pressing? That kind of means that your curds are too dry, Manel, that you could probably reduce the stirring time and you'll find that the curds will remain moister. Another thing is that the curds could be cut too small and they've released far too much whey. And then you'll find that the curds will be dry and it'll all crack and it'll look like a desert landscape after the rain. So James says, hi, Gavin, Happy New Year. I was wondering if you've been able to source sheep's milk in Australia. There's only one place, and that was from a fan that sent me. We organised a get-together to get some sheep's milk from his. He's got merino sheep, which is the standard sort of sheep here in Australia for wool, and he decided to milk some and got a fair good volume. I think they only produce something like 2 litres of milk a day per sheep. So he had to save the milk up and freeze it, and that was part of the issue. But they were late in their lactation, so they didn't have a very good curd set. But other than that, I really haven't been able to find anything that the home cheesemaker can buy, unless you go to. There are a couple of sheep's milk artisan cheesemakers, but they have their own flocks, and you can't go up to the artisan cheesemaker and say, "Mate, can I have some milk to make some cheese?" Be a bit rude, I think, but hey, you could ask, I suppose. But no, James, I'm sorry, mate, I haven't seen it anywhere for sale, so that's a bit of a problem. Thanks for your question, mate. Finker says, Happy New Year's, cheese family. Yes, indeed, I feel like we're a big cheese family, even though I'm talking to a camera, but I know on the other side of the camera, all you people are, all my curd nerds. Bill says, I opened a cheddar cheese I vac packed 6 months ago. Excellent flavour, but wetter than I expected. Is this normal? Yeah, look, mate, sometimes with vac packing, there is a little bit of moisture trapped. You got to remember that when cheddars are cloth banded, evaporation can happen and the cheese dries out. The rind will dry out first. Obviously, the centre of the cheese stays moist. So you get that evaporation. With vac packing, you don't get that evaporation. So the whey has got nowhere to go. So yeah, so you've seen that in many videos, Bill, that I just pat the outside down with a paper towel, and then no problem, the cheese is fine. So it is normal sometimes. Sometimes if you've got it just right, you'll find no way there at all. Donna says, what cheese do you make all the time just for your own table? Good question, Donna. I don't. Our table gets whatever cheese I've made in a video and whatever's ripe in the cheese cave and whatever I've got stored away in vacuum packing. So we have such a variety of cheese for the table. Remembering that, I live on a suburban block. I don't have a house cow or goats or anything like that. I source my milk from a local dairy, Inglenook Dairy, great suppliers. Never had any issue with their milk ever. So, I've got to get it in, the milk in. So it's not like I make cheese every single day, every weekend or every couple of weekends. So that's what we do. Manel says, how to do the creamy texture inside the burrata cheese. So burrata cheese is basically mozzarella. So make a batch of mozzarella, the traditional way, of course, using buffalo milk if you can get it. And that'll make such a difference. Don't use cow's milk when trying to make traditional mozzarella. It just doesn't taste the same at all. And then you get a cream and you shred some of the mozzarella after you made a flat bit of it. Shred some of that. You put it in really thick cream. So cream that's runny, but it's thicker than normal pouring cream. And you mix that together and you put that in the middle and then you wrap a little bag around it that's still, the curds are still hot. And then you just twist the top and bingo boingo, you get yourself some burrata. That's how they get it inside. Tricky. Okay. Question from Praboda says, what is cheese rennet? Oh, right. So now I understand the question. So rennet is it's an enzyme called chymosin and pepsin that is found in the fourth stomach of most ruminants. So cows, sheep, pigs, calves, and we've got the curd nerd light going off. And they thank you for the super chat. I'll get to that in a second, Donna, if the thing will turn off. There we go. And they've extracted that enzyme and they've created, there's liquid versions, tablet versions, and so the enzyme coagulates the milk. And what it does, because it's in the stomach of the calf, when the calf drinks milk, as soon as it hits that fourth stomach, it coagulates. Just like, and humans have chymosin in their stomachs as well, infants. The milk solidifies and it's easier to digest for the baby. That's why those stomachs are lined with that. Now, some people still use it's called the rennet bag, for want of a better term, and some people still use that. I prefer to use the liquid rennet, which is fermentation produced chymosin, and we stock that at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. So that's what rennet is. Okay, how to make it at home? There are quite a few videos on YouTube on how to use the rennet bag and how to salt dry it, and then put it into a jar with some a very light brine, and that way you just use some of that liquid as your rennet, and that works quite well. I've actually seen some videos lately. I can't remember. Somebody told me. Who was it? It was, I can't see them here in the chat. Townsteading. There we go. That's the gallery. Townsteading told me that, pointed me to a YouTube channel on the people from Azerbaijan, and they're making cheese in their backyard. Very cool. And then she uses a rennet bag or stomach to produce her rennet. So that was very interesting. Donna says, I've got to get the right thing. Where are you, Donna? Donna says, thank you. And thank you for the $5 US super chat. I appreciate it, mate. And you're most welcome. Rightio, let's get back to the questions. Dominic, late to the show. Happy New Year. Thank you, Dominic. Oh, so the timer went off. What am I doing? It's time for the gallery. Rightio, let's get that up and make this work. Oh, goodness, I'm so confused. Oh, pardon me. Sorry about that. Alrighty, gallery time. Hang on, I need a sip. Oh, get dry throat talking so much. Rightio, sorry about that. Right, so we need the little bits of text that go with this. Right, so the first cab off the rank, this one's from Cheryl Goulden. And Cheryl says, "Hi, Gavin and Kim. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. The picture of my pepper jack and the first cheese I ever waxed. We cut it open on Christmas Day. It was pretty good. And I'm still a newbie at cheese making. A friend gave me some fresh goat's milk. I have a goat milk gouda in the press now. Actually, I do not think that I've ever had goat's milk before. Hope it turns out okay. Have a good day, Cheryl." Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate it. That's a great looking cheese. I love the way. Where is it? There we go. I like it. They do turn out crumbly because of the high acidity of the chili. That's why the cheeses are crumbly. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's just because it's a high acid cheese and it kind of does that. So, yeah, great looking cheese. Let's move on to the next one. This one's from Josh. And Josh's got a bit of a note about all his cheeses here. Josh says, right, so this is Josh says, "Hi, Gavin. A few pictures of cheese that were part of a wonderful platter my wife put together for Christmas are attached. The first one, this one is Cotswold. It's your recipe from 2019 with chives, onion flakes, and the garlic powder addition. I used MA 4001 mesophilic in place of MO 30 due to MO 30 being my nemesis." Oh, okay. "A youngish Cotswold aged just 6.5 weeks as I misjudged the time I had left before Christmas. This cheese is an absolute favourite at Christmas though. Garlic and chive aroma was fantastic and complements the cheese texture perfectly. I've already been told that I must make another one, so I'll press a little bit harder to close up those mechanical holes. 10 out of 10 recipe." Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Your next cheese on display, this one is Caerphilly. It says, "Not much to add to this wonderful cheese. So easy and quick to make. An absolute go-to cheese when the cheese-making mood takes you." Indeed it is. Caerphilly is so lovely. And I can see you got a nice rind there on the outside. You vacuum packed that. So, yeah, well done, mate. And this is a picture of the platter. So this is the platter they had for Christmas. And it says, "Here we have the platter that my wonderful wife put together for the family Christmas. Clockwise from 2 o'clock." So that would be, there is the Cotswold and then Jarlsberg. He had some left over. I think we've shown that photo previously. And then the new Caerphilly there at 6 o'clock, and then the Caerphilly from the other photo at what's that one? Sorry, cubed. No, it's chili brie cubed. And anyway, and it says 5 different and delicious cheeses, along from various crackers, meats, grapes, apricots, almonds, cranberries, and rum balls. We had we left with a very empty plate. I trust you and your family have a safe and wonderful Christmas and look forward to all the great cheeses of 2022 from you and all that submit their photos. I've noticed a bump in the quality and skill of the submissions over the last few months, so I shall need to lift my cheese-making game. Regards, Josh. Well, thanks, Josh, for sending all those photos in. I really appreciate it. They were some fantastic-looking cheeses, mate. Well done, you. So very cool. What else I got to say? Oh, if you want to send photos in, and please do, if you've made some cheeses, whether they're good, bad, or ugly, I don't care. If you've got some issues that you want to talk to me about, we can do that during the gallery. I got no hassle with that. Like, send in the photo of the cheese. I can do troubleshooting as well. So yeah, we'll do that. And let's just share, the how to send me a photo. Everybody wants to know that, of course. Let's have a look. So back to my YouTube channel. So this is just in incognito mode. I'm not logged in to my own channel. So what we do, we go to the About tab just there. And just past the description, there's the things for details. You can only do this on desktop, by the way. You can't do it on the mobile app. So you go down here for business inquiries. It'll say sign in to see email address. If you're already signed into YouTube, there'll be a little capture that say get a tick to say I'm not a robot. And then my email address will pop up. And that's how you send me your photos. That's the only email address that I look at when I'm looking for gallery photos. So please only send it there. If you've got any of my other email addresses, don't send it there. I don't look at them. Not for gallery photos anyway. So because I put the gallery together the night before the stream. Because the stream in my time starts at 8 a.m. So I do that the night before. And I only look in one folder. So just letting you know. Just letting you know. Donna says, a follow-up question says, will homemade Munster look dry like store-bought? Yes. If yes, at what stage, please? Yeah, so the rind will harden a little bit, Donna, after all that washing. And once it goes orange, then it'll start to dry out, because I think in the recipe I recommend that you reduce the washing over time, if I remember rightly. And then you'll find that the rind will start to dry out, and it'll look store-bought if that's what you're going for. Cease says, what do you say? A friend of mine really likes Carntail. Okay. And there's a specific version there. What's that? Junie or June? June, something like that. I'll have a look. Are you familiar with it? No, never heard of it. I've heard of Cantal. I've never made that. Is it known by another name? Not sure. We'll do some research. I've got it down on the list. We'll have a look. Howard says, Happy New Year from me and my two friends, by the way, Gavin. Thank you very much, Howard. My two friends, Bonnie and Hamish, are sitting in the cheesy chair of wisdom just over there somewhere, just off a camera over there. What's this? H7O Polo says, some people are an open book. Gavin's an open encyclopedia. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I've been told I got a bit of an encyclopedic brain. Anyway, we got the Curd Nerd light going off again, and we'll just kill that. Who's that from? Let's have a look. Paul. G'day, Paul. Thank you so much. $25, mate. Rich as. Just saying Happy New Year to you and Kim. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it, mate. I really do. And then there's a follow-up super chat, and the light didn't go off. I don't know. I'll make it go. There we go. It's flashing just for you, Frank. Frank says, thank you for your super chat. But Frank says, in the 1750s, they said hard cheese is good for months on a ship. How did they do it, especially if they cut it? Was the recipe different or special storage? No. So what they did, Frank, was they just had very, very hard cheese. So they let the cheese rind dry out completely. So it's very like you look at some cheddars, they are very hard. And you can imagine after a few months on a ship, especially in the tropics, my goodness, the cheese would have sweated. It would have had an oily coating on the outside. If it had a high moisture content, which I doubt they would have, the cheese probably would have gone rancid. So that's why they would have made low moisture cheeses, and those cheeses on ships and long voyages in the 1700s. That's what they would have done. They would have had really dry cheese. They would have used it for grating. It would have been like hardtack. So that's what they did. Thanks for your super chat. Appreciate it. Ben says, same question. what kind of cheeses they use for transportation, like travel cheeses. We'll have a think back. I think Julia over on Cheese History talked about this a little bit, that the Roman legions back in the day, back at the turn of the millennium, the last one, no, two before that, 2,000 years ago, when they marched, the Roman army marched on their stomach, of course. So they did have some local cheese producers and some cheesemakers that went with the legion. That was part of their baggage train. But they did take hard Italian cheeses with them, wrap them in cloth or wax paper, or not wax paper, wax cloth. And that was all very exciting. So they could have a little bit of cheese with their stew and that sort of stuff. And we've got another super chat going down here, and that's from Thomas. Thomas, thank you, mate. And I know you had a question in there somewhere because it's just not working for you. But thank you so much for that $25 super chat. I appreciate it. Here's your follow-up question. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it, mate. And I really do enjoy our chats over on Patreon. So when you have a question and stuff like that over there, it's been lovely. Okay, we've got 20 minutes to go. I'm sure I've still got some questions to go. Let's go back and have a look to where I was before the I know we did Cantel, we did that. Question from Danielle. Yeah, sorry about that. When is the next cheese tasting video? Oh, let me think. I think there's a cheese tasting video for São Jorge or São Jorge or St. George. That Portuguese cheese from the Azores. That'll be coming up soon. It's a very long aging cheese. I did make it quite a while ago. There are some other cheeses in the cheese fridge as well that I have to do some taste tests. So it'll be within the next month or so. But the Gorgonzola may be the next one as well, but we'll see. Okay. This question's from Annette. And Annette says, my kefili tastes good, although a bit saltier than I like, not bitter at all. That's good. Will vac packing the remainder and maturing it longer help decrease the saltiness? Not really. Kefili is known as a very salty cheese because of that, that rubbing every time you wrap the cheese, plus you put salt into the curds as well. So, yeah, it is a fairly salty cheese. So what you can do, Annette, is maybe not rub salt every time you flip it next time. If that's your preference, you can do that. You will find that there'll be a fair bit of mold growth, though, on the outside. You'll get a little bit more mold growth. So, yeah, you can cut down on the salt. I just went for the traditional recipe that I found, and that seems to work okay. I've seen other recipes that don't do that salting during every time you flip the cheese, you rub it with salt. I've seen recipes you don't do that at all. And dare say there'll be a less saltier cheese. But I do really like the fresh flavor and the saltiness of that cheese. It's just personal preference. But you can change it. You can change the recipe if you like. Just remember, you really have to put that salt in the curds before you press it, because otherwise you'll get the lactic bacteria will go crazy, and you will end up with a bitter cheese indeed. Okay, Fun Pants 94 says, would you recommend a stabilized paste or a non-stabilized paste recipe for a first-time bloomy rind? Ooh. Now, remember, the stabilized paste is a little bit more complex. If you've never made a bloomy rind before, just one piece of advice. Just make sure when that first initial 10 to 14 days when it's getting its mold coating, if you're going to make the non-stabilized paste version, just the normal traditional Camembert de Normandy, but don't call it that because that's AOP or AOC. Yeah, so make sure that the temperature is around about 7 degrees Celsius. This will slow down the proteolysis or the breakdown of the proteins that happen the white mold brings on. And that will cause the cheese to become very, very runny if it's above 7 Around 10 is the threshold. If you mature them at 13, tell you what, you're the runniest cheese ever. And you'll see that if you look at the camembert that I made with the raw milk, the raw milk from Made by Cow. That was a really runny cheese, and but that was because I used raw milk as well, and it's got extra lactic bacteria. But I did mature that at a little bit higher temperature than I normally would for a camembert. So keep the temperature low during that initial 14 days, and then once it's wrapped, after you've got the the bloomy on it, pop it in the fridge, let it ripen there, and that slows the proteolysis down really well, and you'll have a firmer style cheese. Anyway, I hope that helps. Dominic says, and I think he must have backtracked or something, making a video and a taste in 2 different videos is good. Thanks, Dominic. Appreciate the feedback. Fairy Tale After Dark says, hang on, a little bit of fluid left in the cup. If you're wondering why you can't see the logo, it's because I'm left-handed and they're right-handed cups. So there we go. That's from the merch store. Old wine, old cheese, and old friends make great company. So you can get that if you want. Anyway, back to the question. Fairy Tale After Dark said, hey, Gavin, Happy New Year to you, maybe. I bought a kit. I bought all the kit for my cheese journey, and I'm contemplating my start. What is the best hard cheese to make for a beginner to start with? My confidence is high. Best hard cheese to start with. Ooh, okay. So we talked about it already during the show, and that is Caerphilly. Caerphilly is a great start because it's mature in 3 weeks. So you get to taste the fruits of your labour early, boosting your confidence even higher to try and make some of those longer aged, up to 3 months initially. Some of those, like a stir curd cheddar, 3 months tops. And then you can go on to other sorts of ones as well. Hamish, calm down, bud. Calm down. You're not going for all your E's just yet. Sorry, I'm just talking to the dog. There's nobody else here except Hamish. Oh, and Bonnie. Anyway, all right, I've got to go. I'll be back in about 2 seconds. You can hear him grumping. Here we go. Hang on. Come on, hurry up. Sorry about that. I'm back again. Here I come. Rightio. That's the beauty of live, I suppose. Okay, so Maurice says, inspired by you, I made my own curd harp with fishing line instead of stainless steel. Still have to try it though. I like your channel. It is inspiring. Keep up the good work. Well done, Maurice. Yeah, so the first curd harps I got sent to me many years ago were made by a guy called David Dawson in Canada. I don't know if he's still around. But yeah, he sent me them with fishing wire, very thin nylon fishing wire, and that worked perfectly. It's only since I got the few from Steve Benz, which I think the link is in the YouTube description, if you want to buy those, but you've made your own, so it's no big deal. Yeah, he used stainless steel, and look, that cuts just as well. The fishing wire works, no problems at all. Don't worry about that. How much time have I got? I got 10 minutes. Let's have a look. Rich says, is there any cheese you've made and enjoyed that your wife or others did not enjoy? Let me think. Not really. Kim seems to enjoy most of my cheeses. We have a fairly similar palate. So there's only one I can think of. I did a marinated feta, my very first one. I never filmed it. It was from the very first feta that I made. I had some left. I thought, I'll put it in a jar with some oil, see what happens. Stupidly, I left it in the cupboard instead of in the fridge to mature. And what happened, it actually started to ferment like, well, real feta does, but they do that in brine. But yeah, it tasted a little bit like, well, it certainly smelt like baby's vomit. So But me being the keen cheesemaker back in those early days, not that I'm not keen now, but I was even keener. I tried it and I thought, well, hey, this is fairly funky sort of cheese. I gave some to Kim and to my daughter Amy, and they nearly threw up. They said it was horrible. So the lesson there is to always mature your Persian feta, which is just marinated feta in oils, in the fridge. So always put in the fridge, and always put about, I think it's 50% olive oil and 50% sunflower oil, and it won't go hard because olive oil, when it gets cooled down to about 4 degrees Celsius, it starts to go a bit chunky in the fridge. So yeah, so that's what you do. Don't mature it in a cupboard at God knows what temperature, because there was no temperature control. And yeah, smelt like baby vomit. Terrible. Thanks for asking, Rich. I'm really opening up today, aren't I? Whew, there we go. Alyssa says, how can I turn at least part of my basement into a cheese cave? Ooh. Well, you would have to make sure that your basement is 13 degrees Celsius, or what's that, 55 Fahrenheit. First of all, if it's any higher than that, you won't be able to do it. It's just too hot. At that lower temperature, what you could do is you could simply set up some shelves if you wanted to, and use ripening boxes to ripen all those cheeses. But if they're backpack and wax, you can just put them on a shelf and they'll be right to go. Don't have to worry about the humidity there at all. However, look, if you've got a basement that is hotter than 13 degrees Celsius or 55 Fahrenheit, you're really going to need a cheese fridge just with an external thermostat. And you'll be good to go. And there's a video on that somewhere on my channel. Jim is a little bit late. Hello, Jim. Greetings, Gavin. It's great to see you again on a weekend feed. Thanks for all the posts on your other channel with Kim. Indeed, Jim. Thanks, mate. Yep, we've been we're making another video in a couple of days' time, I think. We're talking about our garden. We got some fantastic fruit trees in the front yard. Yeah, I just picked yesterday. I picked some apricots, and I'll tell you what, we had some. Maybe this is going off the topic of cheese a little bit, but we bought some store-bought apricots the other day. Tasted them, bland, tasteless, absolutely tasteless. But I picked some apricots, and we had some yesterday off our tree in the front yard, and the flavor was just amazing. It's like that, the face I make when I eat a good cheese. It was just an amazing, flavorful apricot, like the good old days, if that makes sense. Don't buy supermarket fruit. It's tasteless, honestly, unless you get it organic and it's from a good producer and that sort of stuff. But thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Yeah, so if anybody wants to have a look at my Kim and my vlog channel, just go to YouTube and search for Kim. It's Gavin and Kim. Gavin and Kim. There you go. Very catchy. And you can find that. And I even think, can I find a link? Let me just. We haven't got much time to go, but I want to do this because we can. Let's get incognito and let's find Gavin and Kim. And for those who haven't already subscribed, I think most of you probably have. Here's the link. Let's have a look. Hopefully this link goes to Facebook and YouTube. There we go. There's the link to the Gavin and Kim channel in the chat. It's gone to YouTube, Twitch, and now Facebook. There you go. It should be visible in the feed. So yeah, go over there, subscribe. If you want to see other things that Gavin and Kim do, Kim and I did a series, and I have advertised it in the community tab of this channel, and that was the Big C. So Kim's journey through cancer treatment. So if you've got any family or friends that are going through similar circumstances, then it's a great little series that documents Kim's experience and what happened. We get into quite a bit of detail, and for a lot of Kim's friends, it was very upsetting. But if you want to know, what happens when somebody gets initially diagnosed with breast cancer, pop over. But there's lots of other stuff. So it's our sustainable living channel as well. So all of the things we do around here, the life of our dogs, And speaking of dogs, they've gone very quiet, so I don't know what they're doing outside. So I'm going to have to wrap it up in a minute. But yeah, so we'll go from there. Finker says David Dawson passed away. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, mate. You were a great inspiration for all your work over there in Canada. Thanks, Finker. I'll have a look and check out what happened there. But he was a fairly old bloke when he sent me through the Kurt Harp. Okay. Alrighty. Bill says, I appreciate you taking my questions. Always informative answers and always good manners. Thank you to people asking. Mate, that's just me. That's the kind of bloke I am. Okay. Next question is from Tio and says, hello, Gavin. I'm getting inspired by your videos. Looking forward to making some blues one day. Indeed. Don't wait for one day. Do it now. Life's too short to have crappy cheese. Paul says, I'm thinking of going outside my hard cheese and try to make some Castle Blue. Any advice? Or is the recipe go good or good as it is? Yeah, it is good, mate. I didn't have any problems with that cheese. It grew the blue mold. The flavor inside was fantastic. So yeah, no problems at all with that recipe. I don't think there were any additions. If there was, it might be in the last part of the video, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. But no, a good little cheese. And if you've got camembert hoops, then yeah, give it a go. Liana, lovely to see you, Liana. Hi, Gavin and Kim. Happy New Year. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. 3 minutes to go. It's time to wrap up. So sorry if I didn't get to anybody's questions. And, what's that? No, I can't get to that question. Sorry. It is a good question. Why does everybody hate me for eating Parmesan rind, Mr. Cheese? You can actually put the Parmesan rind, if you buy a commercial one, you can put that, lay it on a baking tray, put it in the oven, and it turns, and you cook it at about, I think it's 180 degrees for about 20, 30 minutes, and it goes crispy, like pork scratchings, if anybody eats pork, but like pork crackling. So, yeah, it's a great way to eat the rinds. No haters on the Cheese channel. The rind is great. And C says, before we go, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already on YouTube, or the thumbs up button on Facebook if you're there. Okay, so if you want to learn how to make cheese, don't forget you can pop over to the Curd Nerd Academy. There's a beginner's course at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Gav. And you can get your cheese making supplies. We don't ship again until the 17th of January. However, you can put your orders in. I do have a fairly good stock, but I've just reordered yesterday. I'm waiting for the suppliers to open up again, and we'll get all those cheese making kits filled and all that sort of stuff. But you can go to littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We ship to quite a few countries, but still there are issues with global freight. It's just crazy. If you're not on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, there's the merch shelf down below. I get a fair whack of those proceeds, which are great for the supporting the channel financially. And you can go to the merch store normally. There's the address there. Anyway, Curd Nerds, I really appreciate everybody turning up today and asking questions. It's been fantastic. There's been lots of people here, which is surprising for the second day of the year. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time. And we will see you, well, next week, definitely. Hopefully, Kim will be have a better night's sleep and it'll all be good. Anyway, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. And I will see you next time. And hopefully this works.